What do you think is the most common misconception about your relationship and or each other?
I love this. You go.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I love this.
Literally. I was like, oh, she's about to spit.
I know, like, the common misconception about our part. So I can answer for you. I feel like you should know this about me. Like, what is a misconception people have about me?
Dotun, it's a test.
No, yeah. It's a test, yeah.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm excited.
I know you're excited when you say hello before I even get, how are you, Andy?
Oh, it doesn't matter how I am. You know how I am.
I know, because we're very excited. I'm like shaking with excitement over our Love Fest today. This Love Fest. Yes. I mean, this was a season that I think we were very involved in. Mm-hmm. Like, I would consider it arguably the classiest Bachelorette season ever.
I would say so.
A very classy season. Also, the season where I had my perfect score, not to make it about
you got
me.
the I told you so. This is all on you. You got it.
Yeah, I may or may not have predicted Dotun as number one from night one and kept him there throughout the entire season. I feel like maybe I'm not that unique in that. But anyway, I'm making it about me. I'm so excited to have this couple here. Also, arguably the best dressed Bachelorette.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to stop fawning. We are joined today by season 20 Bachelorette Charity Lawson and her winner, Dotun Olubeko. Thank you so much for joining us. You're in Brooklyn, correct?
We are, and we're excited to be here with you guys.
You have been living together pretty much since the ring, all the things?
Literally, since the ring. I mean, we I got announced as a couple end of August, and then I went straight from, our little rendezvous of celebration to New York with him. I stayed with him for a few weeks, and then I went to Dancing with the Stars, and he joined me in Dancing with the Stars. So we have been together ever since, September. Yeah.
It was like a couple months difference, couple months of us going back to our homes, and then once Dancing with the Stars started, that's when you officially moved in and became one. So yeah.
So how's New York working for you, Charity?
Yeah.
It is going good so far. I will say, I tell him all the time, I don't hold anything back. Obviously, being from the South, it is very much of something that I have to get used to. The weather for sure. I told him I hate the winter, but now we're it's spring, it's happening, and I'm thriving. But yeah, there's a little bit of adjustments. I hate not having a car. So I've been a subway girly. Trying to get used to the subway is definitely has been interesting to say the least. But it has been good. I actually just love the people up here. I love the culture. It's really, I think, the best place for us right now in this season of our lives.
Yeah. You're going to learn that you will love and hate New York in equal amounts, but the love will always win.
That's what he says all the time.
And the hate is kind of what makes you love it too.
Yes.
It's a weird, vicious cycle that 100%. You end up jumping in. So
this is a real New Yorker.
Yeah. Andy is a born and bred New Yorker, by the way. And and even his, I would say his hate matches his love still.
I hate it with a passion, and I would never go anywhere else.
That's precisely. That's the same. That's the whole relationship. That's what's beautiful about this city. There's not really a place that gives you both of those feelings.
It's amazing.
Totally. Yeah. Charity, I would highly recommend venturing into city bike territory if you haven't already.
Okay.
Especially the e-bikes. The e-bikes are great. They're basically motorcycles.
Yeah, I was once it gets warmer, I told Dotun I will start doing that, but I couldn't even fathom that while it was negative 32 degrees here. No.
Negative 32. Look at the Georgia girl. You wimp.
I definitely am exaggerating.
Well, today, you two, is all about your love story. Honestly, today it's just about loving on each other. We want to know about your relationship dynamic. I love that you've been cohabitating since September because that gives us a lot to work with.
Yeah, and we expect a lot for the Newlyweds Game.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end, no pressure. So we'll just get going, and it's double date vibes today. Yeah. So we're gonna have fun.
Before you guys start, I have a question for you. Are you two together? I don't want to be weird. I was trying to figure it out. I probably could have done more research. Or that's just cool.
I am delighted by this question.
Last time we checked, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We are married 9+ years.
We are nearing, in a couple of weeks, in a couple of weeks. Yeah, in a couple of weeks, it is our 10-year meeting anniversary.
Yeah.
I love that.
Which is that's the anniversary we actually celebrate.
Were you asking, but you think that I shouldn't be with someone this beautiful? Which is, by the way, a very reasonable question.
No. You guys are both beautiful. You guys match very well. I just wanted to make sure that I'm aware so that when I ask questions,
we are fully married.
I love it when someone asks because they just don't know. That's my favorite thing. I have a thing when people are just like, oh, I don't know. Like, they just ask the question instead of just pretending.
Like
so thank you, Dotun. Okay. So we're going to start at the very beginning. Normally we start with how you met. Obviously, everyone knows how you met. Probably an overwhelming number of people know how you met. So I want to know what your first impressions were of each other and how those have changed, if at all.
Yeah. Do you want to go, B?
I can start.
Yeah,
I can kick it off. Yeah. So obviously, I think by the time like she was announced to meeting her, it was like 2 days or 3 days or something like that. It happened really quickly. And so I just had like Instagram, I stalked her Instagram for like a couple seconds, so I was like, okay, that's what she looks like. And coming out the limo, the first thing that stuck out to me was her size, right? Assuming we're talking physical. So she's just so tiny. So
wait. Hold on a second. Isn't everyone tiny to you?
Yes, technically speaking, that would be correct.
Okay.
She's extra tiny. She's like tiny in ways where you're like, I didn't even know they make those size shoes. Like that's how tiny she is. So, and it was just because on TV and things, everyone looks taller, you look bigger. Right. And so coming out that limo, I was like, okay, this is what we're working with. But then shortly after that, like she, as you can see, she has like a beautiful smile and she lights up a room. And so that's when you saw my intro. I came out, and once I got over like the small petite thing, then I was like, hold on, this girl is beautiful. And I came out with my stupid little hold on now, girl intro, and the rest was history. And so
okay, now non-physical.
Thank you.
Non-physical. And I mean, so are we talking first impression like night one or?
Yeah, you meet her, you have that let's go first conversation and you're like, how is she different than you expected? Or I just want to know that. And then to today, we're talking close to a year since you filmed that night, right?
Mm-hmm.
A couple of months.
It's actually 2 days. The 19th is night one.
Yeah.
So it would have in 2 days our first official meeting.
Just like anniversary of our meeting.
Yeah, it's close, very close.
Does that count? I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that counts.
What do you mean? Because it's TV, it doesn't count.
TV is like you have to bag it up like 2 weeks.
They can have that. We'll let them have that.
Okay.
Thank you.
You got it.
So graceful. So the first thing that stuck out, and you kind of saw it in our first conversation when you took me up to her room, was just how like well spoken she was and how lucid and aware that she was. Because I went on that show like being honest, like didn't know anything about it, thought, okay, I'm just gonna go for the experience, finding love, slim chances. And assuming that most people on TV just like want to be on TV. I had this whole warped idea of reality TV and people that go on it. And I met her and she was just very real and raw and smart, obviously beautiful, but that just really stuck out to me. And that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is kind of real. Like this could really turn into something. Like I thought I was going to play along and go home when I go home, but she captivated me really quickly. Her intensity with eye contact and how attentive she is really just so hard to find. And so, yeah, that immediately off the bats kicked it off for me. And her appreciating my immigration card too, just like all those things that mean a lot to me that I expected to like just be like whatever, ended up she having those characteristics, and that hasn't changed. So just really, really grateful. Yeah.
Oh, I love that specificity.
Yeah.
Attentiveness.
That's the whole the Dotun experience is specificity. From day one, you were just like that guy.
I also love how the whole thing kind of just fell in his lap.
No, literally. Exactly.
Like, I wake up every day and I'm like, what the hell happened?
Like not to diminish like how much you deserve it, but it's just like there are people who like search and search. They go on this show and they're like, it's gonna be me, and you're like, I don't know. You sort of like find yourself there. It's amazing. I love it. Okay, so and has your impression of Charity changed at all since you now live together, you're engaged, all the things?
Not really. I think the biggest thing is that like she's has, and I have this too, and that's why we get along. But like, you go on The Bachelor, everyone's like, it's serious. We had serious conversations. We joked around a little bit, but it was mostly serious because we had limited time to get to know each other. And then on the other side of it, then you see how goofy and silly she is. And there's an inner childlike spirit that she has that I share too. And, part of my proposal speech was saying they were both two kids kind of, put on this earth to meet each other. And to see that come out like beyond the serious conversations, but like in just her playfulness and her attitude was like so not just refreshing, but I was like, thank God, because I'm an idiot. I'm a goofy ass dude. And I can't you will not like me unless you have that same little like childlike spirit. So that was probably the biggest thing.
Wow.
I knew we'd get good answers from these two.
Charity, blink twice if you knew night one that it was Dotun.
She didn't blink at all. Look at that. She's a professional.
Okay. Which I told him this. I told him shortly after like everything was done filming. But yeah, no, I did not know that it was going to be Dotun like right away. And I think that's like been the biggest question is like, was it love at first sight? And not to take away from who he is, but like I didn't get to talk to Dotun at all night one, like at all, besides the limo. And like, as you know, unless you have like a banging limo entrance, you're not gonna like, it's unfortunate if you don't get time with the lead. It's really hard to just like go off of that. So luckily, like his speech to me right out the limo was just very intentional. I feel like we use that word a lot with each other, but it was very intentional. It wasn't like, a lot of the other guys who had like these cute little gimmicks and acts, like those were cute and fun, but then there are a few of the guys that came out just like, you know what, I'm just going to hit the ground running with like why I'm here and let you know, like, this is my purpose. And I saw and felt so much of that from him. But then also like, he was like, obviously when he came out the limo, he had this little like smooth little, I don't want to say player because I don't like that word, but it was like little player energy.
It's okay. You have a little bit of that.
He's got swagger.
He had some swag. So I was like, okay. And I was like, wait a second. And so it was very like charming, endearing. And then I think you see after I got done talking to him, I was like, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on him because I was getting like mixed like signals a little bit of like, okay, it might be like too much, like, but like it was like just enough. And then obviously like as our time progressed, like, we got time to sit down and talk to each other. It was far more than I think I could have ever imagined. And he is someone who is so observant. And that's like the best word I think I can describe. Dotun as like obviously intentional, but like really observant. And how he describes me, I feel like I describe you a little bit, like he's very attentive too. And so obviously the conversation that I think you guys see that's really in depth for the first time between us two, apart from him showing me his immigration card, was in Seaside. And that was like our third, like, full interaction. And
was that s'mores? Was that the s'mores date?
No, that was our one-on-one. So
sorry.
Yes, it's okay. So this was the chat.
The s'mores date made a huge impression over here.
Yes, where I brought him up to my room, and that was when he like started describing like so much of these like traits that I had, and I was like crying full on, and you guys didn't even see it all, but like it went on, like we were talking for hours, and I was like, you know what, like this man just highlighted so many parts of me that I feel like no one in my life has even done, like not even like my family members, not my parents, like, and it was just so refreshing to see, especially in that environment when there's so many other things going on. Then that was the moment where I was like, okay, this man is literally paying attention to me. He's wanting to be here to hopefully find someone he doesn't know. He has no idea what's going on, but he's like fully like, sacrificing and leaning into the experience. And obviously from there it was hello, we are locked in.
Such great answers.
I mean, to be perfectly fair, we at first we didn't see a lot of you, Dotun. So Charlene was making a big call, and she does get a lot of credit for this because we saw very little. I knew you didn't have
night one time, and I was like, it's Dotun.
And she knew. I was just like, we haven't seen any of this guy. We were on screen for like 5 seconds, and she's like, it's Dotun. Anyway, but your long pick was great. And your short pick was great because our two favorites on the season were Braden and Dotun. Not to bring up her ex. I'm sorry. I had to do that.
I made a call him an ex is sort of a stretch.
It's a little. Yeah.
I remember that part. It was a group date. And I remember us saying, actually, I feel like we saw Dotun come out of his shell a bit because he finally got like a little, like just, I don't know. I'm like maybe speaking for him, like he's here speaking with us. And I'm like, this is how he felt. But I remember thinking, Dotun, that you know, it was away from the group. Like you finally had like some alone time. I mean, alone time. I know there's cameras there, but it felt so intimate, and like we saw him sort of like blossom in that setting. That was just my opinion. Anyway, it was just so beautiful to watch. I remember that conversation. And I remember her crying, and I was like, I knew it.
Stop making this about you.
I can't help myself.
I'm curious though, because you said you knew, like, what did you pick up on from him as a viewer? Because obviously, like, you guys only see what's shown.
Honestly, like, it was quality.
It was quality. Like Dotun.
He stood out. He stood out, and he was head and shoulders, literally and figuratively, over everybody else.
It's, you know, when you talk about attentiveness, it's really, it's like he was so present, so in the room. And of course, like, by making that assumption, I'm also making an assumption about you, right? Like, based on what we saw. And I always had, personally, I wish we'd seen more of you on Zach's season, if I'm honest. Like, I felt like we
took a lot out.
Yeah. And that really bothered me. But like, so I was making an assumption based on you and like your background of what you would want. And I mean, I related to you actually. So I was like, Dotun is who I would go for in that selection of like 30 guys. And so I think Charity would too. But I'm learning that I think I'm better at predicting when it's a bachelorette versus a bachelor. And Andy's better at predicting when it's a bachelor versus a bachelorette.
That's interesting.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I guess you have that perspective, right?
Yeah.
But I did also. I kind of jump on the bandwagon here. I mean, I was just trying to be different by not picking Dotun. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, wait, Charity, have any of those first impressions changed, or how has that, you know, developed since that first night or that first conversation?
Nothing really has changed. I think he's still, I mean, it's nice to say that about Dotun. Like, I think he just is who he is, and he has such a big heart, and it's very similar to me. I think obviously now that we're like living together, like we're kind of seeing like, you know, just the natural like things come out of like what it's like living with a partner. But like in the grand scheme and the full picture of it, it's like he still is exactly like who he is and who I fell in love with. And it's really great to see. I think I can touch back on just kind of what he said. I mean, I hate to give the same answer, but like we're two big idiots and goofballs. We just love to have a good time. And that, I think, for me is also like a quality that I didn't really talk about. I mentioned a little bit when I was like, oh, this is what I'm looking for, like a guy with a sense of humor. But I mean, I really do, or I wanted someone that was going to understand my sense of humor and who I am when I like can just cut up and just have a good time, because, you know, everyone has their moments and their weird little quirks, and that's not always like going to be accepted or like mesh well with your partner. And the fact that like he like was not scared of anything that I did when we started living together, I was like, oh yes.
That's it. The goal of a relationship is to be the most ridiculous version of yourself all the time. It's like, that's what I want, that ridiculous person.
I relate so much to what you're saying, because I feel like when I was looking, Charity, I don't know if I would have said like top 3 deal breakers I'm looking for is someone that I can be like basically a child with, you know, like just like a totally ridiculous cartoonish version of myself with. But in retrospect, it kind of was under the surface of like of my, you know, to look for a list. It's just, it feels weird being like, oh, what are you looking for? It's like, oh, someone I can be a child with.
Literally.
I think it's the same thing. It's just like a more nuanced thing of sense of humor, right? Anybody goes sense of humor. And I think when you just go deeper, then that's really what people are talking about, right? Because obviously there's so many different forms of humor. So I think that's what it is. It's just your type of humor and who you are in your most ridiculous form. And so, super critical, super important.
Totally relate to that. And I swear we're going to move on from this question, but you guys give such juicy answers that I have to touch on one other thing. Charity, when you talked about him having swag, you know, he had game. It's so interesting. I feel like, especially as a woman dating today, you know, you want someone who has some game, but you're always like, is this too much game? Like,
correct.
You're like, is this veering into like danger game, or like I'm just attracted to you and you're a quality guy game? So it's, you know, it's the thin slicing early on. I relate to that.
Yeah. No, Dotun is definitely special. He has a great balance of that, but also like another, and I'll touch on this really quick, just another trait about him is that he is so secure in himself that like I don't feel like he ever feels like he has to morph into something that he's not, or like he doesn't put on, like he just is. And like I love every single part of him for himself, like not for anything else in this world or what he needs to be. Like I don't want that. And like it's so refreshing to know he's just so secure in who he is. And I love that. Yeah.
Quiet confidence, the best kind.
It's the best.
Quiet, tall confidence.
You can tell these two have talked a lot about the relationship because she's like, saying so many beautiful, like really specific things about him. And he's just like,
that's right. That's right.
He's eating it up.
After filming, we did 1,000 of these. And
yeah.
It's like, but it's been a while. So you guys are getting some fresh answers. I'm hearing some little tidbits I've never quite heard.
We're starting easy. The questions get
hard.
Charlene, in the puzzle of life, I think we found the final piece for our meal situation.
Yes.
And that is Factor.
Yes.
Because Factor fills in those spots where you're just like, I don't want to cook. I don't want to go out. I don't want to wait for delivery, but I also don't want to have a cold, clammy, crappy meal.
Yeah, or a frozen dinner.
No.
Once in a while.
We've gone past that.
Yeah, once in a while frozen is fine, but there are days where you don't want to sacrifice taste and texture. Yeah. Because I think when food has been frozen, the texture is always a little... I love how Factor meals are never frozen. They arrive fresh and you just heat them up and they have that restaurant taste. We've talked about the restaurant taste.
And they put love in every dish. They don't just phone it in.
Yes, they're chef prepared, dietitian approved. And let's talk about the dietitian approved part because, that final piece you talk of, what good is that if it's just going to undo your day? You're going to like have something that's terrible for you. Sure, you satisfy the craving in the moment, but then you feel really crappy afterwards. I love that Factor takes into account your dietary needs, your restrictions, maybe the things you're watching, maybe you're calorie conscious, maybe you're keto, maybe you want extra protein, maybe you're vegan. They have options for you.
And our very discriminating neighbors have been getting this Factor all year. Yeah. And I keep thinking to myself, like, am I liking Factor? Am I wrong? Am I wrong to like Factor? And then I see it in our hallway every week. I'm like, no, it's good.
They are discriminating, actually. Yeah. I can see the other stuff they get and I'm like, good taste.
Yeah, a little snooty.
So head to factormeals.com/Shandy50 and use code Shandy50 at checkout to get 50% off.
That's code Shandy50 at factormeals.com/Shandy50 for 50% off.
Andy, that burgundy sweater, it continues to look fantastic on you. It really brings out your color.
Yeah. I mean, I was considering maybe transitioning to this permanently.
Oh, instead of the white?
Yeah, I'm really into the quince.
Yeah, people love it when you wear your quince sweater. And I currently am wearing their boyfriend cashmere cardigan. I mean, quince. Can we talk about how they marry a good deal with high-end style? I know that sounds hilarious. A good deal with high-end style, but truly, oftentimes you pay a hell of a lot more for quality like this, for material like this, and for style like this, because their cuts are also so good.
Yeah, oftentimes you can smell it from a mile away. You're like, oh, that's trying to be high end, but it's not.
Yeah, quince, I don't know how they do it. Truly, their stuff, it looks designer and it feels designer. The materials are fantastic, but their prices, they have like ridiculous prices.
Ridiculous.
Like your cashmere sweater that you're wearing is $59.90. For Mongolian cashmere, that is an insane deal. Normally there's a 1 in front of that number. The reason Quince is able to do this is because they partner with the factories directly. And by the way, these are ethical factories.
I know what people were thinking.
Why are the prices so low? They partner with the factories directly and then pass those savings on to you, the customer. And these are just great deals. Like for basics, like it's really nice to have like the perfect t-shirt, the perfect tank top, the perfect cardigan, the perfect sweater. If you're looking for that like hole in your wardrobe where you're like, I need better basics that don't look cut wrong. You know what I mean? Like they're cut correctly, but without breaking the bank.
Yeah, if the price makes you wince, go with Quince.
Oh, that sounds like a jingle, Andy.
I don't do jingles on command.
Oh, excuse me.
So indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/Shandy for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/Shandy for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Shandy. Okay. How do you two complement each other?
Okay. I would say... I mean, going back to like the sense of humor thing, that's a big one, right? That is a really important one. But I just think there's like a balance in terms of I am very as you said, like relaxed, even keel, right? I knew that's what you were going to say too. It's like glaring, right? So of course, but it's like generally I'm very like relaxed and like try to be centered. And Charity is a little bit more, what's the word, like rambunctious, right? Whatever. Is that over? Can I use that one? She just has more energy, right? Yeah, she's just more like, and so I think there's a really good balance where I could definitely lean more into things, be more emotional, which is what she did an excellent job of doing for me on the show, was just like pouring myself out there and not being so reserved. Generally, I like to keep things close to my chest. And I think I help balance her out in terms of like when those highs get really high, kind of bring it back down into a good medium. So that's been really, really helpful. And I've learned a lot about myself through that process and having her kind of be that balance for me. So that's what I would say.
She's your wings and you're her keel.
Yes.
I got this came. I'm so poetic today.
I was like, really? Like, okay, you got some bars.
Sounds good to me.
Charity, how about you?
I mean,
no, that's the biggest one.
It is the biggest one. I'm trying to think of anything else. Like,
honestly, it's a big one.
I mean, I guess in terms of that, like, I am such a planner, and Dotun is like very like he's spontaneous. He like, and not in a bad way of like where he doesn't plan. Like we like obviously plan and talk about things, but like when it comes to just day-to-day life, I think he helps me like just appreciate honestly just the meaning of life and just what it means to live. And everything doesn't have to be like, oh, like, you know, executed to a certain format. I will be honest and like very transparent and vulnerable moment. That's like something that I think I like struggle with or have struggled with. And so like meeting him, he's bringing out this like side of me that just allows me to relax. And that's because of who he is. So yeah.
Oh my God, what a good answer.
I think the energy compliments are the best compliments.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I just relate to her answer. Like, I don't know, if you are kind of a people pleaser, perfectionist, you feel like that's what you need to do in this world. And to be with someone who's like,
don't have to do that.
No, because no matter what, like you've got this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really, I thought you had already answered it and then you came through with another one. Okay. So next question, how is your partner different than what you imagined for yourself?
You want me to start? Okay. How is your partner different than what you imagined?
You could just also say that she's not.
Yeah, you could say no.
If you want extra points.
I know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything that's like too different. I mean, I guess my answer would be like, I didn't really go into it imagining what it would be like. I've always kind of taken her for as it's come, if that makes sense. So I didn't have like, here's what I imagined and then try to match it up. I mean, to me, that's one of the big lessons I've learned in dating is to not do that. That can lead to disappointment. So I just kind of taken her as it's come. And so I've only been able to like really see the beauty because I've just been kind of building. So I didn't like try to compare or do anything like that. So that's a tough question and maybe something like more specific would come. But I think generally that was my approach with dating in general, but definitely, dating general or dating Charity and getting engaged. So I didn't really compare too much. Just
it's
kind
a very
of watch.
safe answer.
It is.
I want to hear Charity's answer.
I'm thinking.
It's a tough one, actually.
It is.
Really
How's
tough.
he different?
If I had to answer that for you, it would be, I think that's actually one of the hardest questions we ask.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't even ask it, honestly. I often bypass that question. I was just curious to hear what you would say.
Well, yeah, we feel like you're ready for the tougher questions. We got a lot of softballs, but then we're like, oh, you know what? These guys can handle it.
Well, what would you two say? Let's hear it. Like, give us some good examples, and then we'll follow up.
I love when they bounce our questions back at us, Andy.
Yeah, I could say that for you, how you're so you're a homebody. Like you don't like to be out very much.
I'm a total hermit. I really am. I'm super introverted. Yeah. Here's the thing is I've always been into extroverts.
Yeah.
I've always been into like guys who are well liked and have lots of friends. So in that sense, you match it. I'm trying to think. Andy's definitely older than what I had wanted. Like
Not that.
Okay. Question answered.
He took that with grace.
I don't know. I think I just like personality wise, you're pretty much exactly what I was looking for, but
Good recovery.
I didn't I didn't think it was possible to find someone with your personality who would see me the way that you do. I didn't think I could get that combo of that like extroverted, like class clown vibe who also saw me. So it's not that I wasn't looking for it. It's more that I didn't think I could find it.
That's good.
That is.
I have an answer for you guys now. Thank you. For that. That's a good example.
All right, your answer.
I would say that one thing that I'm surprised about, and obviously I love you, baby.
That's all right.
But
Me too.
obviously she's a beautiful girl, but I don't know if she sees like how beautiful she is, and that was a surprise to me. I thought she'd be like, yeah, like I'm a bad bitch, like I'm a Disney princess. But in reality, I know that's normal to have your insecurities and things like that. But it does get to her. And I think to an extent, I don't know if she quite sees how like, and I'm just talking externally. I think internally she knows, but like externally, like she's obviously like one of the most beautiful human beings. But
she's like a doll. It doesn't make sense.
That's why I keep telling her, thank you. I always say like your face doesn't make sense.
She has no pores. Her eyes are like just doll size. Her eyes look like eyes like after you've edited them in FaceTime. No, these two.
Like so fun.
Animated eyes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same with you a little bit. Like it's the same thing. I'm going to jump on this, right?
Or you're
to
trying
make
to
you
get
feel
some
better, like to make sure there's no problem here. You're the same way. I mean, you don't realize how beautiful you are.
Well, it's like you have days. I'm sure you relate to this.
Yeah,
Charity.
I'm just like really hard on myself. And again, it comes with so much things that I've been dealing with. It's like perfectionist and people pleasing. It's like,
I will say this, going on The Bachelor is not the best place.
No, it's not.
For feeling beautiful. But
It's a funny thing because it's both an ego boost because you look around and you're like, wow, everyone here is so gorgeous. Like,
so
why am I? Yeah. But then, I don't know, watching yourself on a screen is like really weird. It's not, it's super hard as a woman. And I don't know. And women are hard on women too.
They are.
It's a weird thing. I relate to this.
It happens to guys. It's guys too, I think anybody when you just see yourself on screen. But like you said, I think it's perfect. It's so funny because if you make it on the show, you're like probably in the top 1% of beautiful people, right? Like they obviously don't cast like, people who are like not, for what it is, like physically attractive. So if you make it on the show, you must be. But then obviously when you watch yourself and you get the criticism, and I will say like females are just harder on that. On females, right?
Well, the problem is with the show is if you go on the show, you will get comments somewhere that validate your insecurities about your physical appearance.
Correct.
Yeah,
and you're guaranteed. It doesn't matter if you're literally scientifically the most beautiful person that's ever lived. Whatever you don't like about your face, you'll see on YouTube, you'll see on Reddit, see on Instagram, and I think that's one of the reasons. Like especially with you, like
it's
we get
the things that you don't tell anyone. Like deep down, you secretly hate about yourself. And then you see a tweet tagging you, pointing at that
you're
thing.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like a dagger in the heart.
So crushing.
Yeah.
And that you just have to ignore them. If 90% of it is loving, you just have to set aside the rest. But it's very hard to, especially when it confirms something you're insecure about. Anyway.
It's really hard. Okay, well, Charity.
Okay, I think I have mine, and I hope this is not like too like professional, politically correct. It's not. It's just how I feel about God. So I would have to say, obviously, like being on the show, I knew he was like a great communicator, but like, again, we're having conversations where we're just like getting to know each other. We're asking probably like really deep questions that we haven't, you have to kind of skip forward to and ask because it's kind of like a speed dating pretty much. But I will say, I think what really surprised me, obviously, like now being in the real world is still how much he is that. And like to the point where he's like a great communicator, but he's also like always willing to like be emotional with me. And I don't think I've ever I didn't expect that out of just like, looking at him. And he is like, I always say like gentle giant. I call him my earth side angel because he just has this like level to like meet me, and he doesn't like, sweep things under the rug. He just is very patient. And like, I don't want to say I didn't expect that, but I didn't expect it. I didn't think to like continue to grow and like be how it is in the real world where it actually matters. Like the show, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but like we're not dealing with shit in the show. Like now we're in the real world and things are coming up, and it's like he still is just a good communicator and willing to be emotional. He doesn't like run away from that.
You know who's not surprised about that? These guys.
I'm not, but actually, I'm also going to piggyback just as I don't know who piggybacked off whose answer, but I'm actually going to piggyback off yours because I relate to your answer with Andy, actually, Charity. Like, it's not that I didn't want that. It's more like that. It felt too ambitious a thing to want.
Yes, too high.
Yeah, that a guy that also sees you and you have the same sense of humor with, who you find attractive, who has that bit of game, all these things, is also like when you're kind of a mess and want to just sit home and cry for a bit, is like willing to meet you there and take the time for that. So yeah, we're piggybacking off each other's answers here. It's so sweet of you guys to include us. I mean, we're not often asked.
I know, we're never included. No one cares about us.
Okay, it's about to get a little trickier, although maybe for you guys, maybe not. What was an early hurdle in your relationship, and how did you overcome it?
Early hurdle. I'll talk about it. I don't mind. It may be same or different. I don't know. Yeah. But I will say, obviously, coming out of the show, I obviously jumped right into the next, adventure, which was Dancing with the Stars, which a lot of people would like, okay, like, good luck, and advise me probably not to do it. But I had so much faith in who Dotun was and just like where our relationship stood. So it didn't really scare me in that sense. But I think it's just what that show puts you through, physically, but also emotionally. I felt very guilty a lot of the times, coming home from rehearsals, because I just wasn't always there. And this was the point in our relationship to where it should really, really be nurtured. And not that I was neglecting it. I still was nurturing Dotun and giving it as much time as I could. But I think he started to see a lot of more anxiety with me come out, which I think took him by surprise. And I do not shy away from talking about that, because I think it's very helpful for anyone in regular relationships, but also reality TV. If you go through this, I became really anxious with just a lot of things in my daily life. And that was a shock for him. And I think it was a shock also for our relationship of okay, how do we get past this, or how do we move past this? How do we address this? And it was really challenging. And it's something I had to kind of be open with him about, of okay, this isn't really who I am, but these are the scenarios that's bringing these, I don't want to say not so good things about myself out, but no one really wants to deal with anxiety. If I could not have it, trust me, I would not have it. But
same,
it's there.
same. And talk about an extreme, that's a trial by fire. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But it's also the kind of thing you can't refuse.
Exactly. So that's one of those things. And
I think it's easy for people to be don't do that. But come on, if you're faced with that opportunity, you're saying yes to that.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I find that
really
a little
hard.
holier than thou when people are oh, don't do that. That's not good.
I know.
So that opportunity might never come along again.
Yeah, it's she's selling out.
I know.
Going on Dancing with the Stars.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was asking, I was you better get your
I
will be fine.
I asked him. We were in Vegas celebrating our engagement and his birthday. And we were almost late to one of these things. I think it was his little birthday thing where the guys came, and I was sitting there doing my makeup and was having a full life crisis. I'm do I do this? Do I not? It was very scary for me, because I was I don't know what to expect. I don't know. And obviously if you deal with anxiety, you're over here contemplating things that probably aren't even going to happen, but you're playing out every single scenario. And it was just a lot for me, a lot for him. But yeah, that was kind of one of the first things throughout Dancing with the Stars, kind of just navigating, but we made it out.
Oh.
You made it through Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, thank God.
To be fair, she was as supportive as could ever be. Like, I imagine there's not an easier way as someone who's, chosen at the end to go through that. So to her credit, I know she's still feels like she has like some guilt about all that, which is so interesting because she could not have done a single thing better. She took me into town, and for a lot of people, that opportunity, you'll be like, I'm going to do this regardless, and let's work through it. But that was not her approach at all, and that's why I was that one being like, no, let's do it. We'll get through this.
Wow.
So to her, I mean,
that's love.
Flowers.
Is that not love?
No, that's a great answer.
Who cares?
That answer is both very relatable in the anxiety and very unrelatable in the Dancing with the Stars.
We're both bad dancers.
Welcome to our lives.
And we're not
we would
stars
not
also.
Win that. We would be the people who are like, they play the blooper music during.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time for Andy's. This is Andy's question, his favorite question, so he gets to ask
I want to
it.
know how you guys fight, how you resolve conflict, and who says sorry first.
Okay. I'll let you guys.
He's lurking in the background.
I know. He's like, I don't want it.
He's becoming part of that olive tree.
Yeah.
As the questions get hard, I'll be completely. No, we actually, and again, one of those things, not to sugarcoat or pretend everything. I mean, relationships are hard, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend. We've had some moments, but that actually brings us closer is the fact that our like conflict resolution is, I mean, it makes me like emotional thinking about it because I just never had that. I never thought that was possible to like just talk through things. And she is, like so many times when it comes to conflicts, right? Ego is a big thing that really messes things up. Can I swear on here, by the way?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Tear it up.
You may.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a family show, but we believe.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like ego, I think, just can make things worse or, completely dissolve some type of resolution. But I do my best to enter any conflict without that. And she is one of the best people I've ever seen. She's so humble when we do have these conversations. And then we always really just try to like get to the root of the issue. And like I said, never brush things over. So that's actually been like the conflicts that we've had, I've been so grateful of because it shows a different side of her and me too, in a way, to like see the way that I've grown too is kind of cool. And that we are always able to come together. It's not like screaming and yelling through it, like no toxic behavior, not an ounce of that. So it's really been really cool to see. And like, I think so many people work on having relationships that are flawless, but it's also a skill to be able to like overcome obstacles. And so it's been good, the little ones that we've had, and it's been good to like show different sides of ourselves. So
beautiful answer, but I want to know what it looks like. Like, so so the voices aren't raised. I picture you two. I'm just taking a wild guess here. I picture you two being the type. I say this because I relate to you, and there's a similar vibe happening here. Where like when we disagree on something, it's almost like disbelief.
Okay.
Maybe you can disagree with me if I'm way off base, but I picture you two being like, wait, you feel that way? Like we're so
I thought we were a team.
yeah, like we're so attuned. Like what? Like how did that happen? Where did you take a turn? I'm just curious. Maybe I'm projecting.
I probably no. I probably am more like that. I think Dotun, like I don't want to say I'm not. So Dotun is just extremely like aware of everything and himself and me too. But like I sometimes like I'm in like Delulu world where I'm just like everything is like we're on the same page all the time. And then when he does say something, I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like that's not how we felt 2 days ago. Like what are we talking? So yes, I do relate in that sense. But yeah, like we do not scream. We do not raise our voice. Like if there is a thing or like we kind of like, I think every couple naturally just feels like there might be a little bit of like tension. Something's like off, like the vibes are weird. So then like as soon as I think either one of us kind of notices that, like we like literally like talk it out. Like there is no like, let's wait till tomorrow. Let's wait next week. Like I hate doing that. I've done that in so much of like my past life that I'm like, I'm not bringing that into this. Like I don't want that. I want peace. And I want to like be on the same page. I want to move together in harmony. So yeah, we just are a talker. Like, I mean, even if it is like, I don't want to say we never yell. I've never yelled at you. You've never yelled at me. I think it's like one of those things where it's just like, it's just more serious and that sucks. Cause like, we want to always be cute and like fun and haha, but like, some of those conversations, you can't do that and you have to be more serious with. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, at the end of the day, every couple fights.
Yeah.
Right?
Never been a couple in history. Romeo and Juliet fought.
Yeah. I mean,
I think. I don't know. Maybe. I think they did it.
Well, they didn't have time to.
They didn't have time.
Yeah.
They died too fast.
They died too fast. Exactly. Yeah. But they would have.
Oh, absolutely.
I
think they would have broken up, to be honest.
I picture Romeo and Juliet being screamers, actually.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. I give them 18 months. Tops.
Yeah. Right.
They didn't give it enough time.
To answer your question directly, it's really us like sitting down, right? We sit down and we talk it out. We use normal voices and then we try to use like logic and reasoning to get to the place of understanding. So it's not anything that would look good on reality TV. It's
it would be pretty boring.
Boring. So boring. Yeah, nipping arguments in the bud. Who wants to see that?
Snuffing conflict? What's that about? I feel like also, Charity, you being a therapist, that's got to be like.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I picture that being amazing.
I didn't want to mention that, but I assume that comes into play.
Yeah, like I try not to. Obviously, I have not practiced in so long or like done a therapy session in a minute, but like I think it's just those natural skills that I already embody as a person. And like I am just extremely compassionate and empathetic. I hate conflict. Like I genuinely hate it, but I'm the type of person that like if I have to do it, I'm going to do it and we're going to get it done. But like I hate even imagining that someone else is feeling hurt, especially if it's because of me. Like that tears me apart. So I think because of that, like I don't want to contribute even more to that by like yelling, and that's just not how no one gets anywhere. Like I know like me yelling is going to close him off. Yes, I am smart. I know these things. I studied people. So yes.
Yeah. It's so funny. You're humble to a fault. Like even if you haven't done a therapy session in a while, like you are trained as a therapist. It's just so funny how you're like, well, I haven't, blah, blah, blah. But I relate to her a lot.
Yeah, once a therapist, always a therapist.
Yes. Yeah, for better or for worse, actually.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Love those answers.
Sometimes you want cocoa and sometimes you want sleep. With Beam Dream, you get both and you'll be counting sheep.
Counting sheep. Doesn't that sound like the dream? The dream powder belonging to Beam. Oh my goodness.
Is there anything better than hot cocoa before bed?
Oh, it's really one of life's greatest joys. I love sipping on. First of all, I'm a hot cocoa girl. I don't know if this is a Canadian thing.
Are you a hot cocoa girl or a hot cocoa girl?
I'm a hot cocoa girl. Okay. I remember as a kid, hot cocoa was my thing. I would go to skating lessons. I would go skiing. Like hot cocoa was the thing. And usually hot cocoa at night, it's not necessarily the wisest call, but with Beam's Dream Powder, you get the best of both worlds because you get that hot cocoa, but it has no added sugar and it actually helps you sleep. It has L-theanine, magnesium, melatonin, nano-CBD, and reishi, and it's the perfect cocktail to support all the different stages of sleep.
And you're very picky about your sleep remedies.
Yes. I've said before that I cannot rely solely on one thing for sleep, and I can't use the same thing too often. So I need to like sort of change it up. And Beam's Dream Powder is one of my weapons in my arsenal. It's just a delight. Like I look forward to the nights where I'm like, ooh, it's my Beam night. I get to have my hot cocoa before bed.
Wow.
And
take it down a notch.
And their mint chip flavor. If you're a mint chip person, it's good.
You know, this is a childhood dream. It's a childhood Beam dream because you get to do a bad thing before bed.
Yes. Be so bad.
Bad, naughty. And the numbers do not lie. In a clinical study, 93% of participants said that Dream helped them get better sleep.
So today, our listeners, the Shandys, get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar.
Get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Shandy and use code Shandy at checkout.
That's shopbeam.com/Shandy and use code Shandy at checkout for up to 40% off. Better sleep never tasted better.
So Charlene, you know what I am since I started using Rocket Money?
What you are?
Yeah, what am I?
Ooh, richer.
Yes. Wow, I didn't expect you to get on the first try. I was excited to give the reveal. But yeah, I'm richer.
And richer with your own money. It's not like you're richer by stealing money from someone else or finding money on the floor. It's richer with your own money because you weren't bleeding money on subscriptions that you forgot about or don't need anymore, or maybe overpaying for bills. Rocket Money comes to the rescue.
And I also feel better about myself because I'm not being taken advantage of.
Yes.
When you're taken advantage of, you feel less good about yourself.
Oh, it's the worst worst feeling. I think it's worse than most feelings, like the feeling of feeling
shame.
duped. Yes.
Shame and lack of self-worth.
Yes.
I mean, maybe not that far for some people, but for me, yeah.
Well, some lack of self-worth fiscally.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Good.
see what
Very
I did
good.
there?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Very good.
So get this, nearly 75% of people have subscriptions that they've completely forgotten about. And I know I was one of those people. And Rocket Money will alert you to those and let you cancel them with one tap. All these companies purposely make it difficult to cancel. They hope you forget about it, especially if there is a free trial. You know, sometimes you do that free trial and you're like, oh, I'm going to, you're interested in the product, obviously. But then maybe you used it once and then you forgot about it. And now you're paying monthly. It's so small.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Totally. Where you don't notice it. And then suddenly a year later, you're out hundreds of dollars. And that's why Rocket Money is so fantastic. It saves its users an average of $740 a year when they use all of their features.
And you'd think it would be enough if Rocket Money just identified the subscriptions you forgot about.
Yes.
They even alert you to an increase in subscription price and will negotiate it for you.
Oh, the best. So Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and lowers your bills so you can help grow your savings.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions.
So stop wasting money on things you don't even use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Shandy.
That's rocketmoney.com/Shandy, rocketmoney.com/Shandy.
So, given your relationship is a public one, I mean, I'm assuming you two walk out the door, you get recognized at least, once a day? At least. Okay. What do you think is the most common misconception about your relationship and or each other, like your partner?
I love this. You go.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, literally. I was like, oh, she's about to spit.
I know, like, the common misconception about our partner. So I can answer for you. I feel like you should know this about me. Like, what is a misconception people have about me?
Dotun, it's a test.
No, yeah. It's a test, yeah. I'm used to this. What would be a common misconception?
And I can give you a hint if you want.
Da, na, 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 na.
Yeah, give me a hint.
It's kind of like, I feel like it's the comment or like the thing that I heard a lot from this past season and like filming and just kind of like people not obviously knowing me, but seeing.
Dun, 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 dun.
You know this. He's like, I'm so
Say it. Yeah, just say it. You basically said it. Let it happen.
Well, they were talking about like you describe me as someone who's humble and you guys see it naturally too. I think a lot of people, they see like what they see on TV, and then if it's not in their narrative, they form an opinion about you. But I think just like as a whole, I feel like people think I'm very like entitled, or I'm very like, I think I'm like snobby, like very like much.
Are you serious? That's ridiculous.
That's weird. Yeah.
I was thinking it was too far in the opposite direction.
Yeah. If anything.
Yeah.
I think you're overly in the opposite direction.
Yes,
It's
you're
like
too humble.
It is two extremes, like boring, which is like people who've only watched Zach's season. They didn't watch, me on The Bachelorette, so they didn't get to see my other personality. But then following Dancing with the Stars, I like, from a lot of people, people just came to their consensus that I'm just like better than everyone. I'm entitled. I'm like snobby. I want so much attention. Like I'm attention hungry. And they say that about like our relationship, which is so frustrating because it's like, I mean, I got to the point where Don was like, don't ask me ridiculous questions. But I'd ask him, I'm like, do I give off that vibe? Like, do you see me that way? And he's like, of course not. But it's like, people will say like, I'm, fame seeking and like, I don't care anything about him. I'm like, did you watch the show? Like, did you see our relationship? Like for what it is? I
mean, that's so insane. It's like, it's our job to think of all the adjectives we could possibly come up with for your personality. And not one of them was close to what you're saying.
No.
So I don't understand where that comes from.
If anything, I was like,
the opposite.
I was like, she's too much in the,
people are crazy.
Not attention seeking enough.
Yeah, no, literally.
Granted, I will say that it is. It's a fringe population, right? It's obviously the small ones that are the loudest. Right. So I don't think it's a general consensus if that's the case. It shows that's what she comes in contact with and sees from because they're the loudest. Okay. But I think for the most part, people have a lot of respect and love for you. I think there's mostly it's people overwhelmingly with sense, yes. But yes, the fringe, right? And there's always those, and some are better than others. Hers can get pretty bad. Those small percentage of people.
I feel like that's the last resort of a coward to say someone thinks they're so good. That's like if you have nothing else to say bad and you just want to hate on someone, that's it.
Well, yeah, and those are the same people who are like, don't do Dancing with the Stars, as if they were in her shoes, they would not have done it.
Yeah, who wouldn't have done that? That's like saying when an actor does like a Marvel movie, we're like, you're a serious actor. What's wrong with you? You should do those stage productions. Yeah,
or they do like a Nespresso commercial. They do an Nespresso commercial and it's like, oh, they sold out. It's like, oh, like George Clooney. I would do the Nespresso.
Yeah, I'm never going to watch another George Clooney commercial.
Exactly, yes.
I got to say, it is so telling, Charity, that you, like, that was so at the forefront for you to that answer to that question. And Dotun was like, huh? You know, it says something about, and I say it again, I actually relate to a lot, frankly, because this is an ongoing thing. I mean, it's such a minor level. Like I can only imagine how much you have dealt with. I mean, it's been a long time since I was on the show and we just have this podcast, but like, it's incredible how, criticism can just like seep under your skin and just live there like a parasite. And I actually think it's kind of beautiful how Dotun was just looking at you like with a big question mark on his face when you were like, I know what it is.
Because it's like, objectively, it's just like the first thing from the truth. So it's not like top of mind, but it is something we have discussed. I get why she was like, you should know the answer. But yeah, like in my day-to-day, minute to minute, she's none of those things. So I wouldn't even think of that immediately. I have to like really remember and remind myself that like that's percentage of people that's doing that. But it's tough. And like we said, for females, it's much tougher than guys on a few levels. So
totally. Especially if you struggle, as I do, with feeling misunderstood.
Yeah. Oh my God. Literally, you're literally the same person.
We're the same person.
Like
that's my thing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not like if I feel like you understand who I am and therefore don't like me, I'm okay with that. But if I feel like you don't like me based on what is so clearly a misrepresentation or like misunderstanding, like I will lose sleep over it and I hate it. Like I want to grow out of it.
Yeah. I think some of the biggest fights we've had have been me not acknowledging your disappointment with online hate.
Yeah.
Like I just will like, how can you possibly get upset by this one person?
Yeah.
It upsets me. And then you get upset that I'm not, letting you be upset about it.
Yeah.
We go to bed angry.
Everybody's living the same life.
No, literally. Like we just look at each other, we're like, familiar.
Totally.
Like do you do this where you try to make sense of those crazy comments and like, can't sleep at night because
you do.
I knew it. You're like trying to make sense of it and like understand these crazies.
Yeah.
You're like,
what? How was this person raised? What drove them to think?
Yes.
I do. I give it too much. I give it too much airtime. I have to work on that.
Are you a natural like problem solver? Like, is that how you would?
And a people pleaser.
Yes.
And I tend to adapt to what I think people want me to be, which is something I'm working on. I've come a long way, but it's a tricky position to be in. I can only imagine with your level, like the past year that you have had. Yeah. I respect.
Yeah, we know what you've been through.
Yes,
we know what you've been through. So, final question, then we're gonna get to the game. Any beliefs about relationships that have changed now that you have found this one?
I guess what I could say is that like I had always thought that not that I didn't believe in soulmates per se, but always felt like you can make anything work, right? Like whatever figure it out, solve it, right? And like two people, no matter where you are, can come together. And it's not that I believe in one person is meant for you in the world, but I do believe there is a strong component of compatibility that you should look for, right? A relationship where you're always fighting and solving problems, even if it's working, is probably not the healthiest or the best way to live like a fruitful life. So, that's definitely changed, and finding someone that I like connect with on, like, we talk about the goofiness, all these things that I thought it was just me, and that like, not that I would have to hide it from my partner, but like that's something I have to keep to myself. And then we have to, split up and then only come together on those few things that we do connect on or are compatible with. I've kind of changed it. And I think it's important to have a certain level of compatibility, and then, the rest of it can be worked on. But yeah, it's just kind of like maybe the soulmate thing a little bit. I'm not as
skeptical.
And thank you. I'm not as skeptical as I was about the soulmate thing. I think there's probably like a handful of people in this world that you could classify as a soulmate, and then you have to find those people, and then that's what's going to make for the best relationship. But two people can totally make it work that aren't soulmates and wrong. We see it all the time, right?
More often than not.
More often than not, which is crazy. Crazy.
Doesn't it look like a lot of work?
So much work. Couldn't be me. Could not be me.
It's not worth it. It's better to be alone.
Truly.
Being alone is not that bad.
It really is.
I mean, it used to be.
No, Dotun, that answer legitimately word for word could have come out of either of our mouths at some point. It's like, you have no idea. You're in very good company.
Yeah. We got to have dinner someday.
Yeah.
You're in the city.
We're both.
You got no excuse.
Exactly.
It doesn't end here.
We're both.
You're stuck with us.
Quite cynical. We're both quite cynical and like not really believers. You know what I mean? And then you meet someone that you have, like, it feels weird. Like, how did you not meet? And I mean, in your case, your story is so like fantastical and fairy tale. Like, I'm sure it has an extra sparkle added to it that, I don't know. I think that it's, you almost feel unworthy when like you are the skeptic, you are the cynic, and then you get so lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, truly. And our story definitely plays into that, right? Obviously the way you met and knowing 2 weeks beforehand, and the way that, where we were like a year ago up until now definitely like plays a role into this little mindset shift. So yeah, I'm still racking my head around it to this day, but yeah, I think that'd be the big thing that I think has shifted certainly. So
that was a cute answer. Charity.
Okay. I think this is one that I'm like still learning, or like the thought is like shifting, but I think I can definitely speak a little bit too for you, Dotun, is that you do not have to sacrifice your independence. And I think like being one is like so beautiful and so like obviously important, but also being one apart from each other, like still being yourself, but together we're like even greater. And I think Dotun just like, he has taught me this, like he has a strong sense of like independence, and like I do too, but like obviously sometimes, and in my past relationships, I don't want to say I've gotten complacent, but like your life kind of just now revolves around that person, or it's like, you're doing everything together, but like he has taught me so much about just like living life. And again, like everything back to you of just like the things that you like really find important, like your independence and being like having a strong sense of self apart from your partner. Yeah. And I think that just makes the healthiest relationships. And for me, it's like something like I am starting to like really like break away from, in the sense of like, okay, like I can still be myself. I don't have to adapt to whoever this person is and like whoever they want me to be. Like I love him for him. And I think I know you love me for me, but like, we want both of each other to like, just really like be ourselves and to fully blossom in this relationship. So I hope that makes sense of what
it makes a lot of sense.
It makes so much sense. And it's also the kind of thing where if in the past you have been that chameleon.
It's so refreshing.
Yeah. It's like you want to go back and tell your younger self, like, no, you don't have to do that. Yeah. This is wrong. Like the relationship that makes you have to be a chameleon, like that's your sign that it's wrong.
Yeah.
But it takes living and finding the right person to have that.
Like I support everything that he does and wants to do. Like at no point am I like, oh, like don't do that, or I don't want that. And I've gotten that so much in my past. Like with just people that I was with, and he accepts me and the things that I like to do. And I think that's just like the best place that you could really be in.
Yeah. No eggshells.
No
That's the best
no.
Yes. Oh my goodness, you guys. So feel good and specific.
Specific.
That's a big peeve for us. All right. It is now time for the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game. You guys were very cute writing your answers. A highlight for me was that Dotun was kind of sticking out his tongue while he wrote his answers.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
It was very cute.
He does that.
Also, they have a tendency when like they would hear the question and then go and then start writing very studiously.
Get to business.
Yes. I feel like there's some A+ report cards in your past, the two of you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Andy, what is your prediction for Andy likes to predict, and he actually has a decent track
Yeah.
record.
I got the last one on the money.
Oh,
Kind of.
no pressure.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it was with Golden Bachelor Gary and Teresa, and you had said it was going to be a 2-2 tie,
3-2 in overtime.
3-2 overtime.
But it was just 3-2.
It was just 3-2.
But it's
So
the
that's pretty
same.
good. It's a pretty good guess.
Okay.
I get credit.
Yeah.
I get credit.
Okay,
Don't take
sorry.
away
You did
from
not
me.
get the credit you deserved. You're right.
Thank you. I am going to go 4-3 Dotun.
Ooh, I was not
I like that.
expecting. Okay.
Sorry. I mean,
I like it.
it makes you the underdog. Now you got something to play for.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous. I'm like, ooh, no pressure.
You think Dotun's gonna?
I just, that's a feeling I got. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he's right. I'm not even. He's just.
Charity, I was trying to come to bat
No,
for
I
you.
know, but like I'm like Dotton's really observant, so like he's probably
Okay.
paying attention to things that I'm like I don't even think he knows, and he does know.
He's even paying attention to us all talking about how he
already-
pays
yeah.
attention to things.
Yeah, he could already win like the Newlyweds Game with you over me.
Yeah. Okay.
Just wait till I get nothing right.
We'll see about
I
that.
don't know about that.
Okay, so let's start Charity with you, meaning Dotun. This is your point to win or lose.
Okay.
So, Charity,
Yes.
question number 1. What TV show do you watch because of Dotun, meaning you would not tune into this show if it weren't for him?
It is the greatest pottery competition. I think that's what it's called.
Go,
Yeah.
baby. Let's go, baby.
Oh, he got it. Very nice.
Yes.
Also,
I have follow-up questions.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, wait. Is this is a show, and where does one tune in to the
It's
greatest
on
pottery competition?
HBO Max.
I'm a sick person.
Go.
Yeah, HBO Max. It's just about pottery. It's like like Top Chef, but with pottery and elimination. It's so entertaining. Do you know how much ceramics are around us? And I don't know how it's made until I started watching this. And there's an art to it, and they get all passionate, and the judge is always crying because he loves it so much. I mean, it's great.
It's actually like it's a real like sweet show.
HBO
really
Max,
is.
the great.
You know what?
Wow.
If it doesn't work out with Charity and you, Dotun, you want to go swing the other way?
I'm game.
All right.
If you like the great potty debate, that's
All right, we're
I
good.
need for a
All right.
healthy relationship.
I got backup.
I already know I'll be watching that show.
Yeah.
It sounds feel good.
It's
Yeah,
very
it's
feel
a
good.
feel good show.
And it's
for sure.
English, so they're all witty and like chop chop, all that kind of shit. So it's adorable.
Well, it's like the glass blowing show. that you
Yeah,
like.
there's a
Yes,
glass
yes.
blowing one that I like.
And we watched
Blown
that
away.
the other day. Yes.
What a wholesome answer, my goodness. And can we also talk about, sorry, we're already over time, but I just can't stop talking to you two. Charity's penmanship.
Oh my
Show
goodness.
us that again.
It's like a font.
It's a font.
It
Let's
is.
see that again.
Look at that.
It's charity. It's font. It's a charity font.
I would
I'm
pay
gonna
money
go
for
make
that
my
font.
the cherry font package.
Okay, Dotun. What TV show do you watch because of Charity, meaning you would not watch it if it weren't for her?
Please get it right. I'm so
I'm
scared.
probably gonna get it wrong because she's introduced me to a lot of new shows, but I just went with the first one,
All right.
and I went with Bridgerton.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no!
It's close because
That's the very first one.
It's the very first one, but then when we like came home, I was like, you need to watch Gossip Girl. And
Oh.
Yeah.
He's seen it before in his past a little bit, but not really. But you were not into it.
The real question now, Charity, though, is it the remake of Gossip Girl or the original Gossip Girl?
Oh, the remake is awful. I'm sorry. This the original one with like Blake Lively.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Totally agree.
Of course.
Yes.
I didn't even tune into the new one because I was like, I'm offended by just the
same. It was. I could not get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 2, Charity.
Okay.
What is your shoe size?
Size 6.
Oh my goodness, that is a small foot.
I was going to guess that.
Okay.
Yeah. Or it could.
Oh, wait, I'm going to go. Wait, go.
I'm like in the middle, so I didn't put 5.5, but he can get a point if it's 5.5.
Okay, absolutely, 100%.
See, looking out for him. Look at this.
Oh.
I know.
Competition.
Okay.
Well, no. Well, now hold up because
What?
because I think you just ruined my answer. Because I put in men's 4.5, which is a 6 in women's.
That is right.
So not 5.5, it's 6 is what it would be. A 4.5 in men's. I just put my men's shoe size.
I do wear 4.5 in sneakers in guys.
But you're 6 in women's, right?
Yes.
You get the point. You 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like metric versus English. Yeah. We got it.
No, we're mostly just like wondering why you did that to yourself.
Yeah, that really was. Yeah, I'm not.
Wait, why didn't you just put it in? Why didn't you just convert it?
I don't know. I just think, I guess, sorry, the patriarchy, all that shit. I don't know.
It's very equal opportunity. We appreciate that.
Whoopsie.
Okay.
I'm going to go 14.
Oh, okay.
I'm going 14 on Dotun.
Dotun, what's your shoe size?
My shoe size. So it depends. So I did put 2. I have to do a 13, 14 because it depends. Half my shoes are 14, half are 13.
All right. Okay.
I said 13.
Oh, she got it. Ooh, this is exciting so far. 2-1. All right. You guys are doing very well. Question number 3, Charity. What was your first ever job?
Okay. I'm going to give 2, but this is what I put. I worked at my gym, which is like crazy. I don't even know if you guys know what that is, but it's like basically like a children's gym for like kids to go and like work out, but it's not really workout. It's like developmental things, like from babies all the way up to like, I think age like 10. And it's just like working on certain like motor movements that are critical for their age and like development. Okay. So yeah.
That sounds
my gym, lovely. Children's fitness instructor. But I also like babysat. So I guess like that, but that wasn't like I wasn't getting on like a payroll for that. They just paid me.
Right.
Yeah, this is like my first. Yeah.
That sounds like Kumon for fitness.
Yeah.
yeah, basically. No, literally.
Yeah. I say that as a Kumon kid. I went to a lot of Kumon.
That's exactly what it is.
You just took me back.
All right, Dotun, did you get that?
I did not. I did hostess. You were hostess for a bit. That was the first one I remembered. But then I remember you said babysat.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Good guess.
So hostess was after the gym for babies?
Yeah. This was like when I was like 15 or 16. Like, so,
that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Dotun, what was your first ever job?
My first ever job was working in a group home.
Really?
I know we don't talk about it a lot. We don't talk about it a lot, but I was a group home aide, so
I keep forgetting, not forgetting, but I knew that.
And that's such a lovely answer. Didn't you just fall in love with him even more?
I know when we actually talked. Please don't make that stop.
No,
we talked about it in depth. I like it's because it's so like. Oh,
it is, and it's
like
so,
I forget that. Oh, he worked there. Like I don't know.
It's so fun.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it for free.
What did you say? Uber.
It was much more wholesome.
I mean, don't you have to be like at least 18 to drive Uber?
I knew I was going to get it wrong. So
all right, so we're still 2-1 for Dotun, and for question number 4. We did pass on a question, but I wanted to touch on it because we liked the answers that were coming out after we passed on it and they started talking openly about it. It was what is one thing your partner has that you'd love to get rid of? And I just am curious what Dotun you were writing for Charity, because we agreed that Dotun knew his answer, but Charity was sort of like wanting to pass that one. Okay, because she said he just doesn't have much.
Which she would have gotten it right if she, but then it also doesn't quite apply. So I get that. It's kind of a tough one to answer. But for Charity, there's a few things. She mentioned clothes and you mentioned
decor.
Yeah, decor, which are the first two things that came to mind, but it's kind of like that. It doesn't really apply to get rid of. It's more of like something that needs to change.
Yeah.
So I would say get rid of, you're going to laugh, is your goddamn heating pad. Get that shit out of the house. You know how much got the whole bed feeling like the middle of the sun. I was like, please get that goddamn bed. I want to throw that shit in a shredder.
I would have got it wrong because that is.
That was the first thing that we were.
Crazy.
I was like,
the way I did not.
It's been a while.
It has, AKA. But listen, I was dancing for 8 hours a day. My body was hurting. I had a heating pad that I would literally after I would get out of the shower, I would do my Epsom salt soak, and then it was a whole treatment that I had to go through, and then I would. Before I would use it, I would have it already pre-warming up before I get out the shower or the tub.
And he's sweating.
And it's already in the bed. So by the time he joins me in the bed is 90 degrees.
Oh my God. So he's just waking up in the middle of the night sweating your ass off.
I didn't sleep for the first 3 months.
Oh my Lord.
And it's she would take that shit around everywhere we travel with it. You know how a little kid carries on a blanket? You would just see the little cord dragging behind her at all times.
Oh my
I just
God.
hope she lost. It's sitting behind the couch right now. I still.
Oh my God.
Accidentally lost
You might accidentally lose it. You never know.
Things happen.
Oh, I'm so glad we circled back to that. A heating pad. Yeah, that sounds like a special kind of hell.
I'd be pissed off if you had that too.
Special kind of hell.
You feel me, right, Andy?
Oh, absolutely. I already sweat in bed. I sweat on a cold night. I don't need that.
Thank you. And it's like a heating pad and she wants to snuggle and then I'm
No. Oh, God. Snuggling alone is too much heat.
I know. I'm burning myself.
The real question number 4 after that intermission. Charity. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I think I got this one.
I hope so.
Ooh.
Fashion designer.
Oh, of course.
Yes. So I told him this story. We had obviously career day, and I was the only kid who did not have a normal job. I came in with a freaking portfolio with little sketches of outfits and things. I was obsessed with just fashion and outfits and all of that. So literally first grade, fashion designer was it.
Okay. First of all, we're the same person because I sketched outfits all the time when I was little. That was my dream, and then I never did anything about it. But oh my God, you actually should. You have, can we talk about her style? Okay, now it took us a long time to get to Charity's style. I mean, Charity's style, the style was a very good style. And I'm very critical. And it didn't end with the outfit, the hair. She styled the whole look with the accessories, the hair, these things matter. Anyway, I'm invested in this now. I think you should do it.
Thank you. Okay, we might go down a whole new career path. There we go.
This was your pep talk.
It was written in the stars.
I would 100% buy what you design. And I don't say that about a lot of people.
Charlene spoke a lot about your fashion off camera. It was not just
that
on the
sequined
pod.
2-piece set, the black and white.
Oh, yes. Yes. It was.
Yeah, I got almost sense she was annoyed. She felt challenged.
Strong choices all around. All right, Dotun, let's see. Did you get that? I'm very curious.
I did.
Nice.
Fashion designer. I did put interior because it kind of molded into interior designing.
Yes.
But fashion designer was the main one.
Excellent. Oh, he got the point. Very nice. Yeah. All right, Dotun, how about you when you were a child? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be, this one should be pretty, she's going to get this one, but an astronaut.
Yeah. Wow.
Of course he wanted to be an astronaut.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
So I did get it.
Amazing.
She got it.
Look at the
Which
font.
we talked
Holy
about
cow.
because I asked him after we kind of had this conversation. I was like, was that the reason why he went for the astronaut costume on the barbecue day? And it was.
Correct.
Oh, that is cute. Okay. You two know each other very well. 3-2 Dotun. Andy, this is looking
So
very
far.
good for you so far.
He said thumbs up.
He's looking smug over there.
Yes.
All right. Question number 5, final question. Charity.
Okay.
You're on death row. You can have one meal left. What do you order? And I believe the two of you agreed to put 3 things each, correct?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. This, the two of you took longer with this one than I was expecting. You were quicker with some of the others, and the food one I thought would be fast, and then you two were scribbling away for a while. Let's see what you put.
Okay. I would choose oysters, a seafood boil, or hibachi, which is like Japanese, like fried rice and the shrimp.
Oh,
So
we
I'm
know
just like
hibachi.
yes,
Excellent.
yes,
Very
yes.
good. Very
we do
good.
hibachi.
I
We do a
relate
lot
to
of
these
hibachi.
choices. Good seafood forward choices. All right.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like it.
literally seafood.
Okay, we've got some deliberation here because I put oyster. My second one was pasta. But my third one, oh no, I changed it last
Oh,
week.
no. Oh,
No, let's see. Let's see the paper.
God,
No.
I put dessert.
Oh, fuck.
But I had fried rice on there, and that was when I was like, no.
I don't see fried rice on there, Dotun.
I know. In my memory, I thought I had written that, but I changed it last minute to dessert. But that's so close.
Oh, Dotun, Andy is particularly upset about this. You got 1 out of 3. Ooh. Okay, no point. This is getting exciting because I have a feeling Charity might get this.
Well, it could go to 4-3 in overtime.
That's what I know. I want to see what happens. Okay. Ooh, getting exciting.
I better get these right.
Okay, so
She's gonna
for
get it.
mine, I put fried rice, lobster, and pizza.
Dang it.
It's kind of tough. I know, baby. I'm sorry. I know it's gonna be kind of tough for you.
Okay. Yeah, he is kind of a picky eater, but I put seafood boil,
Okay.
Pecking House chicken sandwich,
Okay.
and then hibachi because
Those
he
are
likes
all
fried rice too. So I guess,
I didn't know how specific it was in the game.
Yeah, but like, does mine count because I have hibachi and a seafood, like lobsters in a seafood bowl?
No, they're really circling around each other.
Or
Fried rice.
do we need a
That's why it's so
breaker?
hard. Yeah.
We'll give it to her.
Seafood
not
boil. He
wrong.
said lobster. I mean, lobster's
Like
often
lobster, yeah, like lobster tail.
I
Give
wrote
it to
that. I wrote that like in any form. So it's oftentimes it comes in a seafood.
You know what's so cute is when like he's like fighting for her to get the point. That's cute. All right, we're giving you the point, Charity, mainly because we want to go into overtime and see what happens.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. We have a tiebreaker question. We're leaning into the food more. Charity, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Strawberry.
Old school.
Ample Hills, maybe?
Literally, I would eat any strawberry, but like
Anything.
Highly recommend Ample Hills.
I don't even think I've had Ample Hills before.
Yeah, have it.
Oh,
It's the best
Charity.
strawberry in
You live
town.
in Brooklyn. Get
God.
on it. Yeah.
Okay.
He's nodding.
Okay.
All right. Did you get that, Dotun?
I did not. I put vanilla.
Thank God.
I'm just happy that we're moving.
Okay, the reason, because we cut the others.
It's a mercy killing.
The reason
Truly.
Andy said thank God, because you should have been upset about that.
I know, but
is because we've had several tiebreakers now that were all like kind of right, kind of wrong. Like they're too similar that we just like moved on to the next one. This is like the 4th one.
Yeah.
So at this point, we just want the game to end.
Yeah, it has to end. It has to end.
All right, Dotun, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
All right, Charity.
Vanilla.
She did it. All right. We have a winner. I mean,
I feel like Dotun's a little like I kind of. Did you give in at the end? Did you just want the game to end?
oh,
You did.
he threw himself on the grenade.
He threw himself on the grenade. He wanted the game to end because we're all sweating, we're all exhausted. It went on too long. All right.
That's true love.
Yeah, it
To
is.
give up the Newlyweds Game, the highest stakes competition there is on earth.
Yes, he's tired. He's hungry. All this talk of food.
Yeah.
Charity, you are the official winner of the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Sounds like-
Okay, we're gonna set you free. I know that was exhausting for you. Dotun is like he's lost the
It's like I had
sparkle.
plans tonight. What happened?
I'm still here.
No, that went on too long. It went on too long. But thank you for being such great sports. You were the ones that didn't want to end in a tie, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, this
It
is
wasn't
all-
us. We did not force the issue. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us
this was a
today and
joy.
for sharing your relationship with us. That was so much fun. We had a real blast chatting with you, for real.
Thank you guys so much. It was so much fun. And you guys are so easy to talk to.
Likewise.
Likewise.
The feelings are mutual. We'll set you free. I feel like he's like he's having like a low blood sugar moment.
It's like
I say it because I get like that. Yeah. Okay. We'll set you free, and we hope to see you in person one day.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yes,
let's be in touch.
Okay. Have a good night.
Absolutely.
Bye, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Bye,
Appreciate you
guys. Oh my goodness. I feel like the Shandys might need a little bit of explanation towards the end there, because we cut out a couple of questions, but that went on forever.
That was the Newlyweds Game was longer than the actual Love Fest.
It wouldn't end. We asked them 3 that we didn't air, and their answers were all like kind of right. Like we didn't feel comfortable not giving them the point, but it was also like, is that right? And so we kept moving on to a different question, and it happened over and over again. And we decided that they're too cerebral for our Newlyweds Game.
They broke the Newlyweds Game.
They broke it.
Yeah.
Look, we're all exhausted.
I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what just happened.
I'm so hungry and tired.
What day is it?
Is
it tomorrow?
You could see Dotun by the end. He was like, done.
I think we're all just like, why is this still happening?
I mean, we gave them the option to end with a tie.
You know what? We're all a little too anal, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, we all were like, we have to end the game.
Yes.
We can't, like in another podcast, they'd be like, who cares?
Yeah.
A tie. Let's move on. But we were just like, no, this must end.
He wrote vanilla. I bet you he knew it was strawberry.
Oh, he knew. He completely, it was suicide. It was honorable. He committed seppuku. Or seppuku. I never know which one it is. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that was very funny. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But let me tell you that I knew I was going to like them. I love them.
They were,
so easy
phenomenal.
to talk to. I mean, that honestly, that last part, we wouldn't have kept doing that, like with the questions, if we didn't like them so much.
I really just wanted to keep hanging out with him.
I know.
It's sad.
Yeah, but I think he needed to have some food.
He did. I think we all kind of need some food.
I'm really hungry right now. Okay, we're going to wrap there.
Okay.
But truly
delightful.
I actually I knew I liked Charity, but I find I relate to her more than I even knew.
Yeah. You know what they are? They are adults.
Who are going to make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get the full
stamp of approval.
Yeah. I mean, I 100%. I'm more confident they're going to make it than I was that he was going to win 4-3.
Honestly, depending on which question we had ended up with, he might have.
And can we talk about the specificity once more? Not to belabor the point, but there was real answer.
Oh, such a good answer. Like it took us 20 minutes to get past the first answer because I was like, oh, and I want to touch on that. And I want to touch on that. They're both very analytical.
You know, honestly, we didn't even need the Newlywed Game.
No.
We should have just kept talking about stuff like life.
Yeah. They're so cute together.
Yeah. I challenge someone to say that they're not cute together. I challenge them.
Anyone who says that is a monster.
A monster.
A monster, I say.
Yes.
Okay, I think we can wrap there. They were so delightful. I have absolutely fallen in love. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.